Give me a second, folks. Getting strapped up here. Alrighty. Welcome back to episode number 3. Why did that take me so long to think of that? We're on the 3rd episode of MMA. Today we are live from the nicolawood podcast studio, aka my apartment. And I got myself a little organic cold brew seasonal Latin coffee dealio. Got this when I was at the store today. I don't know, look good. Canned coffee always seems a little bit interesting to me, but we're gonna give this one a try here. Not bad. I've definitely had some that are very bitter. I feel like some cold brew coffee just tastes like literally just like stale coffee. This doesn't taste like that. This is actually pretty decent, so shout out to whoever this is. But pretty dry weekend in the weekend or the world of MMA. There wasn't a UFC card, which kind of sucked. I went to check my DraftKings because that's where I naturally keep up with sports, and I was trying to place. I think it was like Wednesday or something. You know, just checking out the lines to see what bets I was going to place, and didn't realize the next card wasn't until October 7th. The Bobby Green Grant Dawson card. I went over predictions for that in my last episode, so if you guys are curious about that, you can check that episode out. I'm not going to be going over that today, but kind of sucks because we've been spoiled for, however many months of having fight cards, or cards every single weekend, like since probably beginning of the year, like March, April. So kind of sucks, but good things come to those who wait. The rest of the cards throughout the end of the year are going to be pretty nice. Very excited for what's to come. But the PFL fights, I was watching, or I didn't watch them. I saw some of the highlights online. The Cedric Doumbé knockout, that was pretty impressive. I couldn't find anywhere to watch it. I was trying to pull it up on ESPN Plus, at least through Hulu. So I don't know, maybe if I did it directly through ESPN, if it'd be easier, but I couldn't find it. Which kind of sucks, but I don't know if because it was like their PFL Europe card. Didn't know if maybe they had it on some different platform that they were streaming it on. But that kind of sucked. But I was thinking, I've thought about this before, and I may have mentioned this on other podcasts that I've done on here. But the future of super fights, I think, in the UFC, outside of like a boxing crossover, which honestly I'm not a fan of. I want to see like a big MMA crossover event, which I think would be cross-promotional events. I think that'd be very, very sweet if you had like a PFL versus UFC card where you have a few champions from PFL fight UFC champions. I even thought this would be a good idea when Bellator is a thing, but Bellator looks like it's going under, so don't think that's probably going to be. Maybe that's how they go out with a bang, but I don't think Dana would do that. Dana would just, he doesn't even want to give him the payday. But that'd be interesting just to see, like, I don't even remember. Is it AJ McKee or Pitbull, whoever the 45, I think it's Pitbull, who's the 45-pound champion. That would be sweet to see one of them against Volk. Volk would probably murder them. But just seeing how the champions match up against UFC champions would be quite interesting. Even with one championship, it'd be a little different just because the weight classes would be technically different. Like the flyweight champion is really 135 pounds, so they'd be fighting a bantamweight. But still, I don't think that would affect anything. It would be, you could just go off the weight number, not necessarily the weight class, but that'd be pretty cool to see crossover events, because that's honestly too how you'd find out who the best is out of all these organizations. I do believe the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, but there definitely is some guys in other organizations, other promotions that are champions that are pretty dang good and probably could be champions in the UFC. I'd like to see that, but we're also probably going to see that when Bellator does, if it does go under for sure. We'll probably see some of those guys cross over the UFC. Maybe some of them will go to PFL, go to one championship just because they might get a nice payday. But if they'll probably get a decent payday too, honestly, at the UFC. But they're not going to get the same money they're going to get with some of these other organizations. But if they really want to test their skills, I think going in the UFC would be quite interesting. I'd like to see AJ McKee. I forget who I heard was actually in talks with the UFC already about coming over. I think maybe Johnny Eblin. That would be interesting. But there is definitely a bunch of good guys over there that I'd like to see fight. No, it's Usman Nurmagomedov is already in talks about going crossing over to the UFC. I think he does have a fight at Bellator 300, Bellator 300. So maybe after that fight, he'll probably sign with the UFC. And I mean, he's cousins with Khabib, so that'd be pretty easy to get that done. I want to make sure I drink this too, and don't let it get cold on me, because this was like $6. But that's what you get for shopping at Whole Foods. But yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. I don't know if that would be ever likely. Let me know in the comment section below what matchup you'd like to see if you saw a champion crossover fight, like, you know, cross promotion championship fight. Who would you guys like to see? Because I think there's definitely some sweet matchups out there. I guess one thing that I did see though, MMA news wise, was Alexander Volkanovski was grappling against Jamal Murray. That was quite interesting. You had a champ versus champ matchup there. Jamal Murray being an NBA champion. It was interesting to see, because you have someone who's as small as Volk. Volk's like, what, 5'6", 145 pounds, probably 160 pounds there, wrestling against some guy that's 6'7". I don't know exactly how much Jamal Murray weighs, maybe 220, 230. Pretty much bigger than Alexander Volkanovski, but it was a good showcase of jiu-jitsu, grappling, and obviously, you know, the skill level of a UFC champion. But I'll give props to Jamal Murray. It looks like he might train, at least the way he was moving, and he was scrambling a little bit, so it gave me the hint that he has at least some sort of grappling experience. But obviously, a guy like that too, with that is that big, with that kind of leverage, if he gets into jiu-jitsu and actually, you know, trained, he could be pretty dang good, just because his size would make it very difficult. Legs, arms, just to be able to defend and get around. Every time I drink something, I swear it makes me a burpy boy on the podcast. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, but I'm still drinking this thing. Like I said, that thing was expensive. But that was pretty cool to see. I thought maybe about making a video of reacting to that, but I don't know. That's not that. It's such a short video, but it was still impressive to see. Another thing too that I've been getting into. Well, I've been doing this for a while, but I've been I guess being aware of myself doing this, is just pulling from different habits. Well, actually, it's literally just because I'm reading this book, Atomic Habits. I was gonna do kind of a book review, but I'm only like, what, halfway through. I don't know if you can see that on my camera. I'm a little under halfway. But I've been more aware of my habits that I've been doing, and a lot of the things that I try to do or I try to implement. Hold on, I'm gonna fix. There we go. Sorry, my mic was rolling into my shirt there. I don't know if that was muffling anything. But a lot of the habits that I pull are from people that are MMA fighters, UFC fighters, people that I look up to in that space, like people like Joe Rogan, I guess. But trying to think of some of the things that I do. I mean, I try to work out every single day, whether or not it's like an actual full-blown workout or if it's just me doing 100 push-ups, 100 squats, that sort of thing. I try to do 100 push-ups every single day, no matter what. I've been on a streak for a while. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've missed a few days here and there, but I've been trying to do it at least 5 days a week for God knows how long. And I definitely have seen a big, I don't want to say a big difference, but I feel a lot stronger in my arms, my chest, especially like if I go to the gym and actually bench. There was a stretch of time where I didn't bench for like a couple months, and I was just doing push-ups, and I felt like I got so much stronger just from doing push-ups. So I think that's one thing that I do. I don't take like ice baths. I had a brief stint that I was doing like cold plunges, but I don't really do that all that much. I do try to end my showers with some cold water. It's usually like 30 seconds to a minute, but I try to do that, and I pulled that from people like, there's a lot of people that do it, but I guess the main person I pulled it from is like people like Sean O'Malley, Tim Welch, trying to do that. I'd like to get an actual cold plunge thing and have something that's like cool, or it's cool water that's being circulated, I guess. Trying to think other things. I was pretty big on stretching for a while. I need to get back into stretching, but I guess just being aware of my habits. I thought about maybe making a video of like things that I pulled from different people, or habits of you know, jiu-jitsu persons, things like that, because I've gone through a bunch of different stints of like trying different habits, different diets, different stretching routines. I've tried a bunch of different things, so I could speak on a few different things. Like, I don't know if I could speak to a lot of experience, but I could speak from my experience, if that makes sense, of trying different things in terms of, you know, just whatever health, holistic stuff. But I think that would be a decent video. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. And also, when I do get done with this, I'm going to be talking about this book. I definitely recommend Atomic Habits to anybody that's looking for a good book. I have a bunch of books too that I've read. The Art of War. No, The War of Art. I always get them mixed up because there's The Art of War and The War of Art. The War of Art's a really good book. Trying to think what else. The David Goggins book. I feel like a lot of people have read that. There's a bunch of good books. I talk about how to eat, move, and be healthy on this channel. Actually, if you watch my daily diet video, I talk about that. There's a lot of good books out there, but if you guys are curious about some of the books that I've read, I could do some book reviews on here as well. But I have been trying to pull different things from different people. I hear a lot of people talk about like eating steak a lot too, or eating red meat. So I've been on a kick now where I've been eating steak like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days a week, which is a little pricey, but I'm not gonna complain. I do enjoy the taste of steak. As long as my bank account can keep up with it, I'm gonna do it. But that's another thing I've been trying, and I feel like I've gotten a lot more lean. I feel like I've gotten a little bit stronger from it as well, just because there's probably so much protein in a piece of steak. But I've definitely gotten a lot leaner, and I feel like it's kind of made me able to fast a little bit, where I can go longer throughout the day without eating, as long as I eat like, you know, a big meal with like steak or something like that at night. It helps me. I don't know. I don't feel like antsy or hungry, or like, you know, when you feel like very hungry, you feel like shaky almost. I don't really get like that, which is kind of interesting. And my weight doesn't drop either. So there might be something there with eating, you know, a lot of high amount of steak or beef or whatever that is, red meat. Because I definitely feel like I noticed a difference. I don't eat as much, but my weight doesn't go down, and my hunger isn't really like that. I don't get that hungry, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other things that I do. This is, like I told you guys, this is going to be a little bit of a dry episode just because there really isn't much going on in the MMA world. Canelo boxed last night, though. I didn't watch the fight, but I saw he won by decision against Jamel Charlo. I don't really know if there's anybody out there that's going to beat Canelo. I don't really keep up with boxing like that. But he seems like he's leaps and bounds better than a lot of people, which is impressive. I'd like to see... It's late. It's too late now because Floyd's old, but seeing how maybe that matchup would, or that rematch would shake out if you had Canelo into the developed fighter that he is, and then obviously Floyd at his best. That'd be interesting to see how that played out. But I think Canelo would be a lot bigger, so it'd be interesting to see weight class wise how that shake out. But I really don't keep up with boxing all that much, and I think it's honestly it's a boxing problem, not a me problem, because boxing's marketing sucks. Like, I never know when a card is until literally the week of, sometimes like the day of, or if I'm just clicking through ESPN Plus and I'm like, oh wow, this fight's tonight. But their marketing sucks. And on top of that, like, I don't really care to watch a boxing undercard. A UFC undercard I can definitely get into, and now I know a lot of undercard UFC fighters a lot better, but I don't know, I just feel like boxing isn't as deep in terms of names, talent. Like, the guys that are fighting on a boxing undercard are like dudes that are fighting for like $400. I don't know, maybe that might be a stretch, but it's just not. I feel like the skill level all the way through isn't as consistent. It's very, very top heavy in boxing, which is hard to get into. And then you don't want to just like randomly like flick on a thing, like have like a reminder set for like midnight, be like, oh wait, gotta watch this main event. Like, no. UFC does it much better in terms of their marketing. Definitely the production all the way through. They have good fights, and I feel like they promote people well during the build up to fight, so you know who's fighting. Even if it's an undercard fight, they make you aware of the names, which makes it much easier to get into. But yeah, I don't know. I think UFC overall isn't much better, but I do kind of get nervous that UFC could end up like boxing, because of, you know, they have the rankings, but sometimes the rankings don't matter in terms of, you know, who fights who. So I hope, it would be nice, honestly, to see the UFC do some sort of tournament style, kind of like what Bellator is doing. I know the UFC had done it in the past, but I think that'd be a really good way to, if they had like a whole card of like a tournament event that was just one weight class all the way through, and it was just one big tournament, and you could see how that progressed. That would definitely pull in a lot more viewers, just because it would be, you know, you have people in kind of like a series, watching all the way through, but I think it would you would have much more consistent, higher views across multiple events, if that makes sense, because it's a a continuous series if it's a tournament style. But also it's a way of having integrity to who's fighting for the belt. Like, it's literally a tournament style. You can still have those guys that are ranked way back to get an opportunity to fight for the belt, but it's up to them. They got to win. I feel like that'd be exciting to see, and I feel like that'd be something new, a nice breath of fresh air in terms of what happens in MMA event, UFC events rather. That'd be kind of interesting. Let me know if you guys like to see that too. I feel like that'd be cool to see the UFC bring back some sort of tournament. But yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm kind of blanking out because there's really not much to talk about in terms of what's new. I may even cut this episode short, and I may even try to make some sort of other video on top of this, because I had someone talking to me the other day about starting jiu-jitsu and how to get better at jiu-jitsu, kind of get their blue belt. That might be the next video that I make. I don't want to get into that topic on here just because that could be a whole video in and of itself. But if any of you guys are thinking about getting into jiu-jitsu, I 100% recommend it. Everybody that talks to me about, oh, I want to start jiu-jitsu, I thought about starting jiu-jitsu, 100% do jiu-jitsu. I feel like I don't want to get corny, but it's definitely impacted my life in a positive way. There's a lot of things you can learn from jiu-jitsu about life, things that you can get better in life from just by doing jiu-jitsu. And on top of that, it's a great skill to have. Like, you feel like you have some sort of level of self-defense. You can take care of yourself. So I think there's there's uber amount of benefits doing jiu-jitsu. I know 100% when the day comes that I have kids, I would 100% get my kids into jiu-jitsu. I feel like it would be a necessary thing that I would try to implement, just because of how important I think it is and how beneficial I think it is. But yeah, that's where I'm going to cap off this episode. Me talking about kids and jiu-jitsu, me having kids in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about some of those crossover events, and if you guys like to see some book reviews. And who do you guys have this weekend? Grant Dawson, Bobby Green. I think Grant Dawson's probably gonna work Bobby Green, maybe finish him late in the fight. I think Bobby Green will probably be he'll hang through for a little bit, be durable, but I think Grant Dawson's pace and his style is just gonna wear on him, and eventually he might finish Bobby Green late in the fight, or just have a unanimous decision after 5 rounds. There's another burp for you guys. Cheers to that. I'm gonna finish this coffee, probably record myself another video, and I will catch you guys next week, and we'll see basically if my prediction was right on that Bobby Green card. Till then, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.